Vasishta continued, when there is movement in the infinite consciousness, the notions of I and the world arise. Movement in the infinite consciousness, it sounds mysterious, like movement upon the deep. But what is this movement in the infinite consciousness? What can it be? Not in terms of creating a notion, but in terms of the immediate reality. It can only be the movement of the attention. The movement of the attention gives rise to notions, and the two primordial notions are those of an individual here and a world there. These notions in themselves are harmless if one realizes that in fact they are non-different from the self or the infinite consciousness. But when they are considered real in themselves and the world is perceived as real, then there is great misfortune. Even this movement in the unconditioned is not a real entity. If it is unreal, how much more unreal are the notions that arise on account of such movement? So we must ask ourselves then, well, does the attention actually move at all? The attention can be regarded as one thing, but with two ends. Like a coin. A coin's usually only got one head, one side facing upwards, and one side is hidden. So you normally see one side and the other side is hidden. But it's the one coin. We normally only see one side of the attention which is focusing on this or that. But there's the other side of the attention. The other side of the attention isn't going anywhere. It doesn't move at all. It's firmly anchored. It's firmly anchored in its own infinite nature. So we could describe one side of the coin as real and the other unreal. The hidden side of the coin is the one that's grounded, it's the one that's in touch with the earth. We could call that the real side, and the other side, the unreal side, if we were talking in terms of reality and unreality. The unreal side is the identification with notions. It's all notional. Just as we have the notion of a barren woman's son, we create notions. Some of these notions we say are real, and some we say are not real. But the teaching we're getting here is that all notions could be regarded as unreal. It's all notional. It is as true as the dancing of the barren woman's son. Such movement arises in ignorance. It is ignorance. In the light of right understanding, it ceases. If you don't look into your notions, then you'll carry on believing in the reality of them. This is being described here as ignorance. Ignorance means not knowing, not realizing, in a very deliberate kind of way. In the same way, the egosense arises when its existence is conceived. When that concept is rejected, the egosense ceases to be. This is known as Dhyana and samadhi. Dhyana is normally a state of meditative concentration, and samadhi has many meanings which I touched on in a previous video. We can understand dhyana as what the attention is focused on, and samadhi is when the attention is focused on itself. It is the unconditioned consciousness. Pray, do not fall into the net of duality and non-duality, etc. All such controversy and polemics only lead to sorrow and despair. There might be some people out there who will object to my definitions of Dhyana or samadhi. I'm not saying my definition is right. I'm just being utilitarian about this. I have no vested interest in saying what Dhyana and samadhi really are, but I hope that I'm putting forward an understanding which might be useful in some respects. In fact, in this context, I don't really see what else Dhyana and samadhi could be. But anyway, we're not interested in controversy and polemics. They only lead to sorrow and despair. We're not interested in batting around notions and saying what notion is more true than another notion. All notions have their uses. They have their modes of empowerment, if you like, but they're not to do with truth. When the conditioning of consciousness drops away, there is no sorrow. Even as in sleep, there is no sorrow. The consciousness that abandons conditioning realizes its unconditioned nature. That is liberation. So liberation is realizing we can drop our notions. It can come as a great relief. We don't have to battle for our beliefs. Beliefs have their places, they have their uses, but when you look into them, when you look into the beliefs you have about the world and about yourself, and if you drop them, if you can drop them, or if they can be dropped, it's described here as liberation, but it's liberation from carrying a great burden. It's a huge relief. Maybe we could say the yoga Vasishta is a relief operation.